Okay, ready? Bow. Is it light class today? Yeah, kind of light. Okay, ready? First exercise. Hey, Rob, you want to come over here? Yeah. Turning. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, and stop. To the side. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, and stop. Okay, hands up, reach down. 1, 2, 3. To your right, to your left, center, inhale, exhale. Hands up, reach down. 1, 2, 3. To your right, to your left, center, inhale, exhale. Okay, again, hands up, reach down. 1, 2, 3. To your right, 2, 3. To your left, 2, 3. Center, inhale, exhale. Okay, hands on your waist, circular movements. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2. Reverse. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2. Center cross, knees. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2. So, want to start a new line? In. Out the direction. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, and stop. Okay, hands on your waist, neck turning. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2. Back and forth. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1 and 2. Center tilt. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2. Center. Down. Rotating. 1, 2, 3. Reverse. 1, 2, 3. Hands up, pulling. Inhale. exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. Okay, spread your feet, turn your shoulders. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, and stop. Lawrence, you want to move up? So you want to come up so you don't block the front entrance. Okay, switch. 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 Straighten the front knee. Switch. 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 Center. we shake it out. Hands up. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Okay, hands in your waist. Shoulder roll. Reverse. And center. Okay, press, release, exhale, inhale. And stop. Hands up, pull in, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. Okay, wrists. Reverse. And center. Okay, palms down, bigger circle. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, and stop. Okay, shake it out. Go from side to side. Okay, lift the knee. And center. Okay. Let's do a leg swing. And center. Switch. And center. Side to sides. Okay, switch. And center. Okay, check it out. Hands up. Pull in. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Okay, silk grilling. switch. Center. Okay, cross, open, and close. Rise and descend. Rise and sink. Open, close. So the side hand actually is about horizontal with the shoulder, not too high, otherwise shoulder will go up. Keep it relaxed here, palms facing in the same direction, so your opening and both hands will face that way. Switch. And center. Okay, feet parallel, circular motion. Okay, lower hoop, round out. Shoulder height. Elbows down. Lower palms down. Extend. Deep breathing. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Okay. Diagonal flying. Switch. Okay, cloud hands. palms down. Carry tiger to the mountain. Okay, center. Infinity sign. And center, form the fist. Okay, palms together, strum the lute. Okay, turn, draw the bow. Okay, center. Fan to the back. Spread your feet, horse stance, both feet 45 degrees, pointing outward. hand. Center, shake it out. Deep breathing. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Okay. So last couple of classes we went through some, fundamentals as far as making a 180-degree turn, then tying that through some basic movements: grass to sparrow's tail, brush knee. These are, common postures in the form. So when you practice the form, it's purely memory, trying to remember a sequence. And then after you memorize a sequence, you go through a process of refining your postures. But if you have a sort of a method or a tool to practice these, then grass to sparrow's tail, is essential, right and left side. Your brush knee is both sides. So the way we do that is, this is even for more advanced or even newer people, because, at every stage you have benefits of doing drills. So we start off with our feet 90 degrees. It's one of the setups that we have. We go to a parallel stance like this at shoulder width. That's how you establish your shoulder width stance. Okay. We kick the heel out. That's it. 45-degree pivot on the ball of the foot. Then when we pivot on the heel, we turn in that direction. We go to vertical elbow. So you hear this term a lot: vertical elbow to horizontal elbow, right? So you go forward, okay, then you sit back and you bring the hands down, roll back, and you turn the inside hand up and you push forward. So your push is on the same side as the front knee. Okay. Now if you sit back and you pivot on the heel toward the mirrors in the front, and then square up your feet, and then continue around, go to the other side, then you switch hands. You go to the vertical right to the horizontal. Then you separate the hands and you line them up so that the wrist in the middle of the left hand is lined up, and you stroke down toward the rear leg. Then you invert the inside hand, you turn and you push off the front shoulder. So that's grass to sparrow's tail. You don't have to hook the wrists in this drill, you just work the feet. Then you turn again and you go to the other side. Okay, so this is something, once you pick up the pattern, you can practice this on your own. So it is a dose of the grass to sparrow's tail, and then your body will get more and more familiar with what happens, because repetition is how your body and your mind kind of get the program into your system, and then eventually it just happens. So what you have when you go from one side to the other is the four movements of grass to sparrow's tail. That makes it up. It's the ward off, roll back, press, and push. And we turn. This is sustaining the arm position to go from one posture to the next. So sustaining is just maintaining your arm positions and maintaining a level of consciousness of the positions. So your body starts to recognize that you're holding your hands in a position, and we go through the motions, and eventually the pattern of movement becomes more consistent, and the way the hand moves and the arms move becomes much more practical. Now if we sit back, staying on this side, we're on your right side, okay, and we turn, that takes us into the vertical opposite side, right? Now we're going to go to the left, go to the right, sorry, to set up a brush knee and push. Now we set up the left, vertical elbow, horizontal elbow, go forward and back, and then we're going to turn. Now this is brush knee now. So we went from the grass sprout to a brush knee drill. Go back to vertical right, horizontal first, sit back and turn. Turn to brush knee right side, push. Then we sit back again and go forward and back, turn towards your left and unwind to turn to the right. Okay, here's your right side and here's your left push. Vertical to horizontal, sit back, turn, brush down and push. Okay, so we all know these from the Tai Chi Paradigm form, but this turn actually happens in the long form, and it's what happens in the obliques. Forward and back, turn and turn, brush and push. Sit back, go forward, sit back and turn. So you sustain your position. There's where your horizontal and vertical elbows start to get programmed into your system. You know that you have to make a transition that passes through both of these positions, vertical and horizontal. And then if we go back to neutral left and turn back to the front, you're back to here. If we switch the hands, that's your drill, basically going like that. Okay. So, you know, what are advantages of doing something like that? If you look at your movements and you pivot like this and you turn and you pivot like this, you start to teach your feet how to pivot more accurately. We have this from stork flap swings, toe to heel, and we go to vertical. If we're on the opposite side, we go toe to heel. That just gives you more of a level of awareness to your feet. And then turning and sustaining, that's what happens when you go to grasp the sparrow's tail. So regardless of which side it is, you're always going to be going from this position to here and holding those positions. So in Tai Chi, we don't just do a leg movement and a hand movement. We have to do them as a relationship. So if your hand is here and you're moving, this has to be sustained. This position is what we call muscle memory, right? Muscle memory is just holding a position, but really muscle memory is skeletal memory. Skeletal memory is the shape, the angle, and position of those postures, and over time your body will recognize. Now when we look at this, we have 2 feet that are 45 degrees, elbows are down like this. Now when we're in this center line position with the triangles and we turn the palms out to the corner like this and we turn them out, that sets up the geometry of position. When you're in this position, if your elbows over your knees, that happens because your shoulders are cupped. If your shoulders are back like this, where the back has one line from fingertip to fingertip, your shoulders are actually in line with your chest. That's that configuration. When you bring your hands to 45 degrees, you actually had hollowed and rounded your chest. So you know this by being in a 45 degree corner. You sink your elbow and you turn out like this. All right. If you put your hand in here, right by the armpit, you would feel a hollowing. There's no tension here. When you pull back, that's when that fills up, when you empty. So that's hollowing the chest and rounding the shoulders. And in order to do that, that's the 45-degree corner. So this position happens quite a bit in the form because it's a structure. You know, your skeleton is really a structure, and we go through these postures to define and develop that structure. How do we hold these body positions, and where's the correct position, right? So those are reference points, and when we reference points, we use typically what we call, you know, high, middle, and low, or eye level, shoulder level, waist level, and then there's the one that's in front of the sternum. Those are reference points. So your sternum, the spine, that's on the vertical center line. That's the 45-degree corners. Then we have the parallel arm positions. So a lot of this information, you already learned it in the beginning, but you didn't really pay attention to it because you didn't understand what that really is referencing. But when we reference our body, we're really using that reference so we know, you know, where the arms are going relative to your body. And the relative position has to do with functionality, and functionality has to do with how do we utilize these movements in some martial form. But, you know, my notion in the beginning was to think most people are not really interested in the martial side because you're really thinking of doing this as a health exercise. So Tai Chi Paradigm is more for prevention of age-related degeneration, to learn how to move your body and also to learn that sequence and use that as a vehicle to practice and create circulation, better coordination, better balance, and so forth. But without the idea of the functionality, which is really virtual when we're just doing the form, you have to be able to recognize what those patterns are. So patterns fall into these categories of geometry of position: triangles, circles, and squares. So those are really what we do with the skeleton. But then we have movements that are transitional, and transitional movements are circular. So in Grasp the Sparrow's Tail, when we look at it like this, and we go like this, and we go like this, and we go like this, that's really just what the hands do. But because we're working it in a space, you look at the vertical line, which is in front of your nose. When you go forward, the horizontal, and you go backwards to your waist, and then forward, you have to integrate your legs and your hands, right? So when we speak of hands and legs or hands and feet, we really mean the lower appendages and upper appendages. So the reality is that you really have to go into this corner, change the hands, come back toward this leg, come across the waist, and then go out like this. So if you look at it in a broken down form, it looks like a triangle here. If you integrate it so it becomes continuous, where you go down, you go forward, you turn, you go back, and you go back to this side and then forward, that becomes a circular motion. So the hands are actually doing this. So that's the pattern. This is the motion. And that's synchronization, because your hands and legs have to be coordinated to maintain a level of balance. So the way to train with that is do the movements over and over again, and then over time your body will pick up on, you know, the size and the direction of movement, and it becomes innate, it becomes something in your subconscious. But we still don't know what it's doing. We still don't have sort of tangibility or feeling. So essentially, if you take your hoop, which is this, and put your hands together, drop this elbow, here's a circle. So that's my right side, on the right side. So this is Grasp the Sparrow's Tail. You take the movement, you make a circle. So you eventually will build your vertical and horizontal motion, right? So we've done this exercise before, do you recall that? So we used to do this as a alternating exercise, horizontal to vertical. So we put our hands together like this and we go horizontal to vertical. It's really your arms are doing this. It's like it's rocking back and forth like this. Okay, So we haven't gone into grasp spiral. We just took the vertical and horizontal with the two hands connected. So what do these two hands, when they connected, present as a motion? It's presenting a pressing motion. So when we say ward off, which is this, press, which is this, sitting back is the roll back, and then push would be the inside hand, right? So if I go like this, if I took this away, that becomes a push. You see the push here, but the exchange between the two sides becomes this, right? So what we see is this circle as one unit. We see this circle as one unit. We see this circle as one unit. And we see this hand as one unit. And then we just went the vertical and went the horizontal and turn. That's what we did. So those type of things have to be, those motions have to become part of the integral part of grasp the sparrow's tail for there to be functionality and be able to create the same circle over and over again. But you know, first, if you understand the form and memorize the form, then you can actually refine some of these movements through that. And there's also another level of practice with a partner. And if I just took these four movements with Rob, and we're just going to make a circle like this, and we just did this. This is what pushing hands is. So you work with each other, and this is where size of your circle, relative position, 45 degrees, center, and 45. Now it starts to make sense. Because without some type of connection to motion and functionality, your body really doesn't know what it's doing. And then we're not really pushing, and we're just attached. So that movement becomes, and I thought this would be something that we progress into doing as a basic thing, you know, as part of the classes. But here, now this is the push, right? So all we have to do is this one. So there's two hand rotations. When we combine the hands, it's this rotation. If we used a hand like this would be left side. We have this rotation. So what we develop over time is the motion, the coordination, and then sensitivity becomes something a little bit more complex than what we just did, is that the feeling of what this feels like to be here, and then when I come to this position, what it feels like as my body adapts and changes. Now, with this and this is this and this, you see. But what doesn't stop? Our legs don't stop. Our hips don't stop. Our shifting of weight doesn't stop. But when you're doing the form, it can all stop at different times because the body doesn't connect to it. So that's something that, you know, we'll phase into a class eventually, just doing that drill. Maybe we'll do a little bit of that simple circle after we do the two forms, right? So let's do the Tai Chi Paradigm form, then we'll move into the long form, and we'll break up the class, right? Okay, ready? Feet parallel, preparation. flaps wings. Here's your toe heel pivot, and you go to vertical elbow, brush knee, and push. Second brush knee and push. Now we go to the left. Sit back, strum the lute, close the door. Form the fist and punch. Sit back, divert, block, and punch. Cross the arms, leopard and tiger springs to mountain. Neutral position. Turn to your right, swipe down, fist under elbow. Neutral position. Forward and back. Repulse the monkey. Stepping back is to retreat. Retreat and repulse the monkey 3 times. And the final one, going forward, reverse, neutral position, hold the ball, step up, diagonal flying, sit back, insert the needle, step forward, fan through the back, turn, stroke down, invert the hand, parry and punch. Form the fist and step up. Punch. Sit back. Divert, block, and punch. Leopard and tiger springs to mountain, and actually push forward to carry tiger to the mountain. We're going to turn, go to the rear, right corner. Square your feet. There's all that pivoting stuff we did earlier. Raise the hand, left side, bend from the waist, stork flaps wings, toe heel pivot to left side, grasp the sparrow's tail. Hook your wrists, single whip, hold the ball, flip the hands over, diagonal flying. Sit back, stroke down, part the horse's mane. Sit back, step up, stroke down, part the horse's mane. Cross corner, forward and back. Jade Lady work shuttle. Cross over, go to the right side, Jade Lady work shuttle. Stroke down, hook your wrists, turn to the front, we do a set of cloud hands, pivot and turn, pivot the feet, and pivot the feet, back to the corner, hook your wrists, open the stance, hold the ball, diagonal flying. Shift, step back, and close. Okay, deep breathing, inhale. So we weren't able to keep up with that music, but it was anyways, so that's the short form. If you've started the long form, you can do it up to the first set of cloud hands, and then you can work out practicing that, and then then we'll break up the class. So Monte, anybody that wants to go on the other side to work on some basics, you can. But if you want to do the form up to the first set of cloud hands, you can join us with that. Monte can go over there. Anybody else? So Paul, you're working the long form now? Yeah. So, all right. So we can. You want to shift over here? I'll go into that corner. Hey, Sonny, congratulations! You made it. Okay, so we'll go through it. Then we'll break it up. You can break it up. All right. All right. Ready? Okay. Preparation. Step up. Press forward. Sit back. Turn the corner. Flip the hands. Move the hand in and out. Grasp the sparrow's tail. Single whip. Hold the ball. Diagonal flying. Shift. Step up. Press forward. Press down. Raise the hand. Bend from the waist. Stork flaps wings. We're going to do 4 brush knee after you pivot. Toe, heel, vertical, horizontal. Go to your right. Yeah. Sit back and do that again. Sit back, go to your left. Horizontal, press. Step through. And push. Sit back. Go forward. Sit back. And push. Sit back. 45 degrees. Back to center. Forward. Parallel stance. Close the door. Form the fist. Step up. And punch. Sit back. Go to your left. That's your infinity sign. Cross the arms. Leopard and tiger springs to mountain. Okay, now we go down. Sit back. Carry tiger to the mountain. This happens in the front side. Cross. Right side. Set up. Brush knee in the corner. Sit back. This is your 180-degree turn. And you go to the rear corner. Brush down and push. Sit back. Let's go forward. Right side, grasp the sparrow's tail. Hook your wrists. Face the corner. This is an oblique single whip. Pivot. Pivot. You can drag that foot across the front foot to get you square to here. Turn. Lower the hand. Slice out. Bring this hand underneath. Make your fist. Sit back. Fist on the elbow. Then it resumes just like before. We'll pulse the monkey 3 times. Then we go neutral, lower the hoop, turn, lift up. So this is a little different. You have this opening of the stance, and we spiral down like this, and we're back to diagonal flying. Shift, step up, press forward, raise the hand, bend from the waist, stork flaps wings. Then we go toe heel pivot to this side. Okay, now we're going to do 1 brush knee. And we sit back to insert the needle. So this is just like Tai Chi Paradigm. Now insert needle, the inside, this hand is on the inside of the leg. And then down. Now we cross the hands, adjust the feet, lift up and spread. That's fan through the back. Turn, same as before, stroke down, parry and punch. And this time we're going to step backwards. So use the same repulsive monkey footwork. Square the back foot, yeah. And then you do the infinity sign. Divert and block and punch. Now we step up. Grasp the sparrow's tail to single whip. And that's where the first set of cloud hand begins. Okay. Now we hold the ball before going into the cloud hands, and we lean and pivot. One. Now we have this little jog here. That's a little bit different from what we do in the Tai Chi Paradigm, but you step out, and it's something that you can pick up and learn as you progress in the form. So there's 3 sets of hand movements, a total of 6 hand movements from corner to corner. You hook and you're back to single whip. Okay, shake it out. So, we'll go back to the long form. But so if you're working up to the first set of cloud hands, maybe Irene, do you want to work with Isaac and Rob and Chris? So she'll work with you. There might be room on the other side. Then, okay, so we'll pick it up from there. We'll go from the kick to the kicks. Ready? From here. 1, 2. Okay. You want to come over here? So you get the mirror. All right, so this is your setup. Reversing the ball. So, while we're learning these movements, the order of movement and the position is important. So here we open, flip the hands over, step up, fold the elbows, lift the knee, lift the elbows, and kick. Then you cross behind, make the 180-degree turn, drop the top hand on top, and fold. Heel kick left, back to vertical left to brush knee, push. Sit back, go forward, twist step, brush knee and push. Sit back, go forward, twist step, planting punch, turn. Parry and punch. Set up for the 4th movement, same as the first, but once we turn to the corner, we stay looking to that corner. We open, cross behind, and go to left side vertical, open the stance to that 45-degree position, come through center, turn the palm over, pivot off the heel of the back foot. That's like Jade Ladywork shuttle in position, but it's really beat the tiger. Stroke down, go to the back corner, turn to your center, and lift the hand up. Clench your fists, turn toward the mirrors. Now we're here. That's beat the tiger. Relax the shoulder, lower the hoop, cross the forearm, level the heel, or level the elbows, and lift the heel. And heel kick, right side. Go down, 2 punches there. That's your upper hoop. There's your circle. Cross over, sit back, pivot, flip the hands over, fold the elbows, lift the elbows, parting leg. Turn. Roll around, pivot, that's a pedal step. Flip the hands over, so that's reversing the ball while you're turning. Drop the hand down, fold the elbows, lift the elbows, go out. This hand goes to vertical, stroke down, parry and punch. Then you form the fist and resumes. Okay, cross the arms, leopard and tiger brings the mountain. Okay, we do this again. Carry tiger to the mountain. Lift up, cross hands, second set of obliques. Right side, grasp the sparrow's tail. And then we're going to hook our wrists and turn back to the front for single whip. Once you're in the single whip position, we hold the ball and reverse the ball for the first time, just like the closing movements, right? That's diagonal flying right. Sit back, and we're going to stroke down and do 5 part the horse's manes. Step up, stroke down, part the horse's mane. 4th and 5th, part the horse's mane, stroke down, part the horse's mane. Now we cross corner. Jade Lady work shuttle 4 times. Pivot, pivot. Step up. Jade Lady work shuttle. Part the horse's mane. Cross corner. Jade Lady work shuttle. Sit back, pivot, pivot, cross step, and forward, and back, and forward. And then here we do grasp the sparrow's tail. 1 set of grasp the sparrow's tail, and now we hook the wrist to single whip. 2nd set of cloud hands. Okay, hold the ball, shift, Next we have downward posture with snake sticks out tongue. Step forward, invert the hand, flip it down, pull down, step up, cross hands, go through your center, lift up, golden cockerel. Thrust out, kick with the toe, golden cockerel. Then we reverse from there, and it goes to repulse the monkey. Okay. And we repulse the monkey again. So we'll go through the form and then we'll go back to the postures. Carry tiger to the mountain again. Lift up. Open the stance, hold the ball, shift, diagonal flying, shift, step up. So we're going to repeat the insert needle section. One brush knee, insert needle, to fan through the back. Parry and punch. Step forward, form the fist and punch. And then we step up again to grasp the sparrow's tail. Now we're at 2nd single whip. Now in the 3rd set of cloud hands. Okay, next, set up, change the hands, palm strikes face, sit back, 180-degree turn, single lotus kick, brush knee on the left side, push, step through to punch down the crotch, and then we step up to grasp the sparrow's tail. Single whip. Okay, next, second downward posture, vertical, cover hand, fingertips, pull down, step up, cross hand 7-star, sit back, pivot, turn, left foot goes forward, palm strikes face, change the palm to the right side, double lotus, draw bow to shoot tiger, set it up, palm strikes face, turn, parry and punch, step up, high pat the horse, step up the right side, grasp the sparrow's tail. Grasp the sparrow's tail to single whip. Hold and reverse the ball to diagonal flying. That's your second reverse the ball, second right side diagonal flying, and close. Okay. So if you look at the format of the form, it's really doing the sequence twice. There's a lot of redundancy. So because the redundancy teaches you how the mapping of the footwork goes. So step up, grasp the sparrow's tail is something that we do a lot in this form, because stepping up, it's called advance and retreat. So if you're on this stance and you step up, that gives you this mechanism to step up to, approach your opponent, or, to step up to use a strike or something like that. So what we did earlier with the grasp the sparrow's tail movements, we had each one of those components, right? Ward off, which is your circle, roll back, which is this, right? Push forward, which is this. So you did the hands in tandem, and we've done this as a drill for actually, newer students, but the relevance of the motions is not as important. They're just learning the geometry and position, trying to memorize kind of where the hands are going. But if you're in a triangle position, and you go to hoop position, and you square your arms, and you bring them down to the waist, and you thrust toward the center, and you open your hands to the corners, and you turn your palms out like that, and you come back to center. That's passing through space, going through the geometry of positions, and it's all really relative to your space. So when we speak of 45-degree corners, center line, horizontal circle, square, draw down, and thrust, and pull down and push, that becomes all part of the things that we do. He's a return, I think. So anyways, that's why when we go through the geometry position, it's so important for your body to start to recognize what that means. Because, without these positions, all of this relative position doesn't matter. So if you're doing grasp the sparrow's tail, which is really something that's in the form a lot, it must be important, right? Otherwise you would just do one of each, something like punch down the crotch, or they only happen once because it's just a method of striking. But grasp the sparrow's tail houses what we call the ward off, roll back, press and push, or the 4 square energies of the form. And those are the frontal movements. And then you have your corners, or you have the other things that is called the splitting, pull down, shoulder stroke, and elbow stroke. And that shows up in some of the other postures that are still inside the form, but it's not as highlighted. Now, when earlier in class we did this, right? Then I did this, and then I did this as one side movement or one side movement. All of these are part of the grass the sparrow's tail. Now, so with the circles, you're like this. This is your vertical horizontal hand. Now, vertical means elbow down as a reference. Horizontal elbow is elbow out, right? So that gives you an idea where the elbow is. So between horizontal and vertical, you always exchange between the two. It's the only way you can actually maneuver. So when you do infinity sign, you're going horizontal to vertical, vertical to horizontal. And it happens throughout your transitions because your joints have to be manipulated. So that's why in Tai Chi we say sink the elbow, relax the shoulder. So sink the elbow and relax the shoulder. Just think of it, it makes logical sense that if you sink your elbow and you don't relax your shoulder, your arms aren't going down. If you relax the shoulder and don't sink the elbow, then it looks like that. But if you sink your elbow and relax the shoulder, then it looks like that. So that mechanism is really a sinking and a pull down, and then you go to a push if that's what you're doing. Now that circular movement that I'm talking about here is this, right? So in grasp the sparrow's tail, when we go like this and step up with the sliding step, it becomes a motion forward. That creates momentum in a direction. So that's how you create the synchronization of footwork and hand movement. If you go like this and you push, that's synchronization of footwork and pushing. But it's only important if you're trying to apply the technique or understand, what that movement is for. And as we go forward in some of the classes and we break it up and do some of these drills with a partner, then you start to begin to understand the importance of space and time and what your body is doing. And it's really a very gentle practice. Yeah. It should be about 2 inches outside of the heel. So if your feet are like this, right, and I square my feet like this, if I bring this foot in and I sink here, then this is about where your foot should be. Because when I go forward like this and I straighten this foot, it's still shoulder width, right? Because the shoulder width stance is.
So that makes sense. But when we do the drill exercise, the left, right, I have problems with the heel.
Yeah, because. Okay, so this is what happens when you turn here and you turn here. You should be okay if you don't pivot this heel enough. So you have to get that out so it's 45 or even a little bit. Then when you sit back, your hips actually determine if it's going to be parallel or not. So if you go like this and you pivot and you don't pivot enough with your hips, then it will be narrow until you do this. Now to get if you look from the mirror side, and when I pivot, my knee actually has to go forward a little bit to keep that alignment. Then when I straighten this foot and I shift and I step up, I'm still in the shoulder width stance. But that's something, part of joint angle position. So proprioception and joint angle position. So this foot that you're sitting on now is not turning enough. So to improve the flexibility and the rotation of your hip, so that's still a motor skill. You have to pivot, turn, and just practice this motion. So if you're in a shoulder width stance, so you can do this. Turn, 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 turn. 1, 2, 3, 4. So in the beginning you do this. 1 and it goes in, 2 and it goes in. But you actually have to turn out and then sink in this leg, pivot and sink in this leg, so your hips and your ankles and your feet start to create a fuller motion. So right now maybe the knee is not releasing correctly, the hip and the feet are not pivoting enough, because the pivotal part of the foot really relies on the amount of rotation your hips turn in, and then you have to sink and turn. So so you can isolate the motion and just practice your leg work. Yeah, so it's okay to drag it across, but your hip right now is not square enough. You see, it's
I keep shifting.
well. If you're gonna make you know when you're doing form, you always make these minute adjustments because of comfort level, right? So if you're going into a position, you're off balance, you know that you have to do this, but it happens because